Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm privileged today to be making my fifth contribution to the sectorial debate as the Minister with Responsibility Portfolio for Local Government. I'm also pleased to address you, Madam Speaker, in this new turn at the wicket for your second stint in this most prestigious chair as Speaker of this Honorable House. And I must confess, Madam Speaker, that I'm touched by the manner in which you have executed your responsibility since assuming the position. This special occasion, Madam Speaker, came after the decision of the electorates to return the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness to serve as Prime Minister of Jamaica, and in the same way in which the people strongly express confidence in his leadership and that of the Jamaica Labour Party to continue in office, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to say to the Most Honourable Prime Minister, I value the confidence that he has expressed in me, the trust, and the leadership that he has offered. And I came across a quote, Madam Speaker, which I want to share and to say to the Most Honourable Prime Minister that this quote reflects your level of matureness and the commitment that you have been giving to this country. And the quote says, Madam Speaker, the true test of leadership is how well you function in a crisis, Madam Speaker. And we have seen this Prime Minister, this leader, demonstrate that level of leadership that has been required over the last year and a half to keep this country on the path of safety. The ministry has been extended, Madam Speaker, to include rural development and rural electrification. And I want to acknowledge the presence of the former mayor of Montego Bay and now Member of Parliament for South St. James, Minister Omar Davis, who has the distinct pleasure of serving in the ministry as the Minister of State. I give God thanks for the strength to continue the service, Madam Speaker, and for the many people who continue to assist me along the way. My family, Madam Speaker, what can I say about the love of a family, Madam Speaker? And I want to thank them, as I continue to do almost on a daily basis, for giving me the courage and the strength and the support and to bear me up in difficult times. To my family here in Jamaica and overseas, I say I love you and continue to cherish your friendship. To my loyal political family of West Kingston, the greatest political constituency in the Western Hemisphere, the people of West Kingston. This relationship, Madam Speaker, and I want to just say something, Madam Speaker, not being bossy, but Madam Speaker, in elected politics in Jamaica today, Madam Speaker, I would have the distinction of being the only elected political representative that would have served the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and 2000, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, only the former Speaker Pernell Charles and the member from St. Catherine, Bobby Pickersgill, would have surpassed me, because Speaker Charles was 66, Bobby Pickersgill was 74. Both serve as councillors in the KSAC. I came 77, serving also as a councillor in the KSAC. But, Madam Speaker, this could not have been possible without the commitment of the people of West Kingston, and I give a virtual wave to the people of West Kingston, my councillors, my constituency executive, and the team that have been so good to me. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Local Government, the leadership, the staff of the ministry, the agencies, the councillors, and all the staff in the local authorities who have given exceptional service, especially since COVID-19 hit Jamaica. And I want to say a special thanks to my personal staff at the ministry and to my personal protective team, Madam Speaker, who have been there during the joys and the sorrows and the frustration of public life. We all continue to live through and struggle with the realities of COVID-19. And to my parliamentary colleagues on both sides of the chamber, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the last 14 months, nationally and international, the story has been about the pandemic and the devastating impact that this has been having, not just on Jamaica, but right across the world, Madam Speaker. My presentation today is about a different story, an optimistic story. It is a story about people and the system of local government who continue to effectively manage the public health protocols, lay the foundation for economic and social recovery at the community level. It is a story about how local government is helping central government to ensure that Jamaica is turning the corner and recovering stronger from this pandemic, Madam Speaker. Over the last 5 years, the ministry has invested heavily in our vulnerable population through social protection program. And that is why I was a little bit shocked recently listening to one of the radio programs, the evening program, when the host of the program, during a discussion around the tablets that our Minister Samuda announced, the program by the Ministry of Health, of Labour and Social Security, when the host said that he got a text message from someone who advised him that the government is about to abolish poor relief. And this was a set program, and it was just a matter of time. Madam Speaker, I want to make it abundantly clear in this honorable House that is not true. This government has not and will never abandon the vulnerable population. And what disturbs me more, Madam Speaker, is that there seems to be some misunderstanding around the facts of poor relief. And I want to spend a little time, Madam Speaker, to speak to the House and to the country about the importance of poor relief. Madam Speaker, poor relief is deeply entrenched in our system of governance. It is specifically protected by the Jamaican Constitution. And I want to spend a moment to show how important it is to our society. Poor relief administration has existed in Jamaica since 1886 under the Poor Relief Act, 135 years between now and then. The steadfast feature of the system has been the provision of care and protection to the most vulnerable population. Poor relief serves every category of vulnerable people from the cradle to the grave, including children in need of assistance to attend school, elderly persons experiencing homelessness, needy persons suffering from mental and physical impairment, persons temporarily displaced by natural or man-made disaster, and persons in need of institutional care who has been abandoned by their families. Poor relief provides burial assistance to needy families to ensure that their loved ones are treated with dignity. The great-great-grandfather of our poor relief system is the almshouse concept, which was exported from the United Kingdom in the late 1800s and was designed for the most vulnerable, to be hidden away from the polite society at that time. Yes, almshouse. The conditions of these facilities were generally substandard, and landowners at that time were asked to vest their properties in the then parish councils in return for the care of persons. The Evening Tide Home, which was opened in 1870 with a capacity of 160 people, appeared to be the first institution operated by government for the elderly, destitute, and disabled persons. It took over 100 years for the public to have a greater appreciation and to understand the plight of the most vulnerable and those persons who rely on the state, Madam Speaker. By the 1960s, the name was changed, and we adopted infirmary in an attempt to remove the stigma associated with the institution. However, it was the Evening Tide Home fire in 1980 that quickly consumed the old structure and killed 150 elderly and disabled women that provided the catalyst for a better institutional investment in public facilities. Following the incident at the facility, the Vineyard Town Golden Age Home was conceptualized and designed to prevent another tragedy, and was constructed on a new site in 1985 under the direction of the then Prime Minister, the late Most Honorable Edward Philip George Siaga. Today, the Golden Age Home is the largest of its kind in the Caribbean, with a capacity of over 500 residents living in comfort, living and gaining the kind of respect that they deserve, Madam Speaker. Similarly, the Denham Town Golden Age Home, a home for elderly and the infirm in West Kingston, was started in 1989 following the displacement of that population by Hurricane Gilbert. Generally, poor infrastructure of our infirmaries was a major cause of concern. It hampered proper care of the residents. A significant number of buildings are over 100 years old, Madam Speaker, including the St. Mary Administrative Building, the Westmoreland Ward, which was built in the 1890s and still stand today. Madam Speaker, prior to the effort of this administration, the only other period that has reflected some effort of maintenance and rehabilitation work was the decade between 2003 and 2013. Even then, there was no structural program to finance or to guide what was done. It was since the advent of the Andrew Holness administration in 2016 that an intense, unprecedented, and continuing program of infrastructure development have been applied to the poor relief and infirmary care system across the country, Madam Speaker. The level of construction that has taken place in our institution over the last 5 years has vastly exceeded everything that was done in the preceding 130 years of poor relief activity. Let me repeat it, Madam Speaker. What this administration has done since 2016, the collective 130 years of the poor relief system has not benefited as much as the system now has benefited under this government. The drop-in centers that have been built in Hanover St. Anne, St. Thomas, Trelawney, St. Mary, St. Elizabeth, and in Linstead, St. Catherine. The new male and female wards that have been built in St. James, Portland, Manchester, the new administrative building in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, you name it, Madam Speaker. We have seen intense investment in the poor and destitute under Andrew Holness stewardship. These unprecedented level of infrastructure development were implemented at a cost of over $1.4 billion, and they reflect the work of a government that is totally committed to the vulnerable population of this country. Madam Speaker, the staff and the system of the infirmary care system was put to test by COVID-19. And I want to specially commend our workers across the country for the level of professionalism that they continue to show at a critical time in the country's history. The system was rapidly put in place in our infirmaries to protect the elderly who were the most vulnerable globally. New health requirements such as screening, entry protocols, restriction on administration and visit, new cleaning and sanitizing schedule were implemented. As Jamaica entered the community spread of the disease, the first case emerged in September last year, following a positive result on members of staff and subsequently on male residents at the infirmary. The largest outbreak occurred at Vineyard Town, which saw 66 residents infected at once. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker and colleague, the first recorded death in the facility occurred on October 27, 2020. To date, Madam Speaker, 220 persons have been infected with 11 deaths recorded. The Denham Town Golden Age Home is the only facility that has not recorded a positive case of COVID-19, Madam Speaker, the Denham Town Golden Age Home. Madam Speaker, we grieve at the fact that any loss of life occurred at the same time. I am really heartened that the mortality rate in our care facility in Jamaica is absolutely one of the lowest in the Caribbean, Latin America, North America, and I go as far as Europe, Madam Speaker, because the team that worked took care to protect that vulnerable population in Jamaica. Madam Speaker, the health protocol has been effective, while we fully understand the desire of relatives to visit and to make contact. We will have the necessary restrictions remain in place. But I want to publicly say thank you to the families of all these residents for your understanding and for the role that you play in maintaining the protocol. I want to also urge them to continue to use the system that we have put in place using virtual connectivity to communicate with your loved ones, Madam Speaker. And I think it has worked and it will continue to work. Madam Speaker, no praise is too great for the Ministry of Health and Wellness, led by my colleague, Minister Tufton. We work closely together, Madam Speaker. Work closely, fighting dengue. And then we put our resources together in the fight against COVID. Madam Speaker, the role of the councillors in this effort cannot be overstated. They have played a vital role in COVID-19, the public vaccination drive. And we have seen the effectiveness of the elected representative, the councillors, Madam Speaker, in their performance in the distribution of the care package program, which this administration provided $280 million to the local elected representatives, Madam Speaker. And I must tell you, Madam Speaker, as their councillor-in-chief, I am pleased that there has not been one report of any partisan distribution of the care package program undertaken by the councillors within the municipalities across the country. Madam Speaker, this administration has invested a lot in our homeless population. The scope of the activities and the level of investment and the physical accommodation for the homeless has no comparison. We started a special feeding program in March 2020 in all the parishes. Again, the government provided $100 million. This program will continue, and it is structured towards the provisions of meals for the homeless population across the country on a daily basis. 2 meals a day and a care package is given to over 3,000 persons who are living on the streets across the country, Madam Speaker. In Kingston, Church Street Shelter Soup Kitchen was renovated and equipped at a cost of $6.3 million. It is the hub for the preparation and distribution of meals across the corporate area. A bathroom facility was built at Spanish Town Care Center to accommodate the homeless at a cost of $2.9 million, Madam Speaker. It is plain, it pains me deeply, while we are making to try to improve the condition of our homeless citizens, there are uncaring and wicked, cold-hearted persons who are going around assaulting, beating, killing them on the streets as they sleep. In January, 6 homeless men were attacked in the corporate area. 4 of them died from chop wounds. Last month, an 83-year-old homeless man was killed in Port Antonio. Someone used a block to smash his head in, Madam Speaker. I condemn these acts of cruelty against a defenseless set of Jamaicans and call on Jamaicans to renew and to treat these people with the respect and the dignity that they deserve, despite the fact that they live on our streets, Madam Speaker. The Poor Relief Department continues to nurture and support some of the nation's brightest students who are full of potential but lack the resources to unleash it. These students receive assistance for lunch, transportation, examination fees, books, uniforms, medication, amongst other services. Since 2016, the Ministry of Local Government, through the Poor Relief Department, started to provide grants for children served by Poor Relief who have excelled academically. The Poor Relief Department has helped to fulfill the dreams of many from poor families. We who have gone on to be shining examples of excellence. I just want to mention a few, Madam Speaker. McKenzie, a medical doctor at Kingston Public Hospital, was assisted by the Poor Relief Department in St. Anne after his mother suffered from chronic heart condition which left her unable to work. Torn Francis, a maths teacher at Marcus Garvey Technical High. Shauna K. Perrier, a graduate of G.C. Foster College who now teaches at Spot Valley High School. She was supported by the St. James Municipal Poor Relief Department. Mistress Diana Sutherland, who was assisted by the St. Elizabeth Poor Relief Department. She is now the principal revenue financial officer at the same municipality that offered her assistance to go to school, Madam Speaker. And Shanique Somerville, who is a student at the Norman Manley Law School and is being assisted by the Westmoreland Poor Relief Department. And I can't leave myself out of it. From my own constituency, Ronaldo Facey, a brilliant young man from Denham Town, who is attending one of the most prestigious universities in America, Drexel University in Philadelphia, pursuing his medicine, his degree in becoming a doctor, Madam Speaker. He was assisted by the KSMAC, and I want to associate myself in it, Madam Speaker. The role of the councillors in the Poor Relief Department in advancing our children and young people in this way is vital. Their development extends beyond themselves and their families and have benefited their community and country. I cannot end this discussion about the role of local government without mentioning the social, economic recovery and vaccine serve, the Jamaica Digital Device component, of which, Madam Speaker, $140 million will be provided for councillors to assist in providing tablets for students going back to school, Madam Speaker. In his absence, I must hail the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, the Honourable Dr. Nigel Clark, and I'm going to assign him a nickname, and I hope that he will accept it. As far as I'm concerned, Minister Clark has become a godfather to local government. He has enabled this ministry to widen and deepen its services in a way that has never been done before. And I must express my deep gratitude on behalf of the local government fraternity and the people of Jamaica for what he's doing to assist local government. The tablet initiative will be further supplemented, Madam Speaker, by the annual education grant of another $140 million that will be made available to councillors. This will bring the total amount for educational support to councillors in this new financial year, Madam Speaker, to $280 million Jamaican dollars. Never in the history of local government has so much has been done for our elected representatives to achieve their objective in serving the people who they represent. Madam Speaker, we continue to work on infrastructure development, institutional strengthening. This year, a new kitchen will be built at the Hanover Infirmary at a cost of $12 million. Renovation work will take place at the George Abrams home in Augustown in Eastern St. Andrew at a cost of $6 million, Madam Speaker. Some $18 million will be spent to renovate the Denham Town Golden Age home. Over $25 million will be spent on building new night shelters in Falmouth, in Trelawney, and in Ocherius, in St. Ann, in this financial year, Madam Speaker. Additionally, we will continue the installation of CCTV systems across the infirmaries. Yes. New therapeutic park, which we started 2 years ago, will continue, one in St. Catherine and one in St. Mary at a cost of $4.4 million, Madam Speaker. The construction has started on the special facility for the homeless here in the corporate area. The work will cost $30 million, and it is projected to be completed in August of this year, and it is going to be completed on time and within the budget that was allocated by the ministry, Madam Speaker. Therefore, anyone who claims that the government intends to abolish poor relief or to undermine the due care of our destitute, I say, as the late Prime Minister who used to lead that side, Michael Manley, would have said, the most honorable Michael Manley, mash down that lie. This is a government that cares and will always be seeking to do more for our vulnerable citizens. Madam Speaker, in this year's budget, the godfather of local government, recognizing the need of these destitute people, $154 million will be provided to feed the homeless, destitute population in this financial year, Madam Speaker. Our agencies have performed well under trying circumstances. The Social Development Commission is an inspiration and an example of competence and commitment to the national development through community transformation. It has not always been so for many years. The agency was left to languish, starve of resources, to return it to the glory of its early years. That is why, at an event in Manchester and Mandeville in 2016, I appealed to the then Minister of Finance, my good friend from Manchester, Minister Shaw, about the plight of the SDC, and he opened his arms, Madam Speaker, and embraced the request that we made. Since then, there's no looking back, no turning back for the Social Development Commission. The agency is performing well under good leadership. Since the advent of COVID-19, its performance has been simply tremendous. I must commend the Executive Director and his team for the indispensable work that has been done and they are still doing in conducting field research island-wide, working with the ADPEM, monitoring compliance, and developing many of the protocols that have been approved by Cabinet for managing the pandemic. These activities did not, Madam Speaker, prevent the SDC from executing its local economic development function. The agency, through this support program, provides training and business support for some 394 local economic initiatives, which generate employment for 1,650 people. They also gave support to the economic incentive through $1 million of COVID grant. In response to the pandemic and the loss of sale for some local young entrepreneurs, the SDC revamped its business fair model, rebranded its community markets and business fair. They held, Madam Speaker, 45 of these fairs, which attracted a much wide cross-section of local business people, including farmers, distributors. This initiative, Madam Speaker, resulted in a total earning for those who participated in the program of some $67 million, Madam Speaker. So this is what you get, Madam Speaker, when the real support to the organs of government. This is the result of sound leadership, fresh thinking, dedicated people who have been given the tools to perform by this administration, Madam Speaker. The National Solid Waste Management Authority continues to perform impressively. And I want to specially recognize the agency, the workers who have been out there during COVID, Madam Speaker, going into the various communities to collect the garbage. I want to publicly and ask this House to give our appreciation to the workers of the National Solid Waste Management Authority. The agency continues to be an outstanding example of what can be achieved with major investment from central government. Bold and innovative leadership and a dedicated workforce form, Madam Speaker, what I would consider to be one of the worst run government entity that this country have ever seen. When you talk about solid waste, it's nothing good you used to talk about. But what we have seen, Madam Speaker, is that this organization, under steady leadership, has turned around its activity. They have been awarded this year in the Corporate Governance Award more than one award for being an organization that continues to demonstrate its ability to comply with the requirements of government. And I want to thank them and I want to commend them, Madam Speaker. They have cleaned up their act and their credibility continue to grow amongst many Jamaicans. They collected 1,014,000 tons of waste in the last financial year at a cost of nearly $1.9 billion. To further promote clean public space, a mobile app was developed to report littering in public spaces and illegal dumping. As a result, the MSWMA was able to conclude 71% of its investigation into illegal dump sites identified across the island. The public have been responding in a positive way to the app, with over 110 notifications and images submitted regarding illegal dump sites, Madam Speaker. The mobile app has also allowed the MSWMA to establish an aggressive 24-48 hours response time to notification served about the delay in garbage collection and littering as a result of the ongoing sensitization about proper containment of waste and commercial waste. Commercial compliance is at 86%. Residential compliance is at a high of 94%, and the Jamaican people must take a bow for that. The important work was also done to remove plastic waste from the environment through the Raytown Plastic Minimization Project funded by the Japanese government under the United Nations Environmental Program. Nearly 17,000 pounds of plastic was collected. 16 environmental wardens were trained in plastic separation, plastic recycling, and community sensitization about solid waste disposal. Another plastic waste collection project in St. Andrew North and the Eastern Belt Initiative yielded over some 82,000 pounds of plastic. Madam Speaker, at a time when the national revenues have been hit hard by the pandemic, the National Solid Waste Management Authority continues to demonstrate sound management by earning its own resources, amounting to nearly $440 million in the last financial year, Madam Speaker, an increase over last year. I congratulate the MSWMA and I urge the public to do its part to make our communities and public space consistently clean, Madam Speaker. I now turn to the Jamaica Fire Brigade. The important role of the JFB in protecting lives and property has been exceeded only by the dedication of the people who make up this agency. I salute the leadership, the administrative staff, the frontline firefighters who responded at a moment's call. Madam Speaker, it was the fire brigade that acted in the first week of May. Criminals abducted a taximan, and all of us know that he was dumped into a 55 feet deep pit and left for dead. 17 firefighters, Madam Speaker, responded to the call. They went to the location, and one out of the 17, he was not forced to. No order was given. He offered himself, Madam Speaker. Acting Lance Corporal Dennis Taylor was lowered down into the pit, took hold of this man and offered assistance, and his colleagues was able to take him out of a dark hole, Madam Speaker. Rescued him, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, this government and the country accepts and appreciates that that was done beyond the call of duty. And we, Madam Speaker, in due course, will acknowledge the men and women for their bravery. Madam Speaker, they are inspired to perform because this government has made it possible, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have invested more than $5 billion in the Jamaica Fire Brigade since 2016. This year, the acquisition of new equipment will enter a new technological dimension. The Fire Brigade will launch an unmanned aerial vehicle program. Under this program, they will purchase 2 drones.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I now ask that the standing orders be suspended to enable the minister to continue his speech, and I ask for the minister to complete his speech. Madam Speaker, thank you.
The question before the House is that the minister be given sufficient time to complete his presentation. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Please don't. Please don't. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was saying that the purchase of these 2 new drones will assist the surveillance and search and rescue exercise, as well as fire and other emergency. The situation, the program, which will be the first, Madam Speaker, the Jamaica Fire Brigade will extend into this level of technology, because this is a government that understands the needs, Madam Speaker. We are continuing to make significant and historical level of investment in equipment and fire station. Madam Speaker, the conclusion of the construction of the 3 new stations, which should have been completed some time ago. But I'm pleased to advise the House that the Barnett Street station that is being built at a cost of $335 million will be completed in July of this year. Yalas, being built at $113 million, will be completed in June, next month, June, Madam Speaker. And the same for the Port Maria, which cost $217, that is set to be completed in July of this year, Madam Speaker. Over in St. Catherine, a brand new fire station is being built, Madam Speaker, at a cost of $59.7 million, Madam Speaker. I am pleased to announce, after many years, Papine will now see the dream of a fire station. A major step has been taken. The University of the West Indies has formally agreed to allow sections of its property to be used to base a fire station. The lands have been identified, Madam Speaker, and the paperwork has commenced. And in short order, I will be announcing, Madam Speaker, the construction of a brand new fire station in the corporate area in Papine in St. Andrew, Madam Speaker. And not to leave you out, South Trelawney, Ulster Spring, lands have been located, and the paperwork has commenced, Madam Speaker, for the construction of a fire station. Madam Speaker, I hear the cry of Portmore, and it is not lost, Madam Speaker. I hear the cry of Balaclava in St. Elizabeth, Madam Speaker. This is a government that has performed, and I will say no more. Balaclava, Portmore, look out, here we come. Madam Speaker, on a very lighter note, it comes on a very more serious note on fire, Madam Speaker. The cost of house fire and industrial fires and other types of fires to the Jamaican economy and society remain very high. Last year, the brigade responded to to some 13,784 fire calls across the island. As a result, 31 persons lost their lives. 89 were injured, Madam Speaker. The loss in terms of the overall effects, 1,776 persons lost their homes or otherwise were displaced. To put it in greater context, over the last 5 years, and the country need to pay attention, over the last 5 years, 62,887 fire calls were received, Madam Speaker. As a result, 168 Jamaicans perish because of fire. 411, including 94 firefighters, were injured. Some 10,826 people were displaced due to fire since 2016. Madam Speaker, one of the frightening things about our responsibility as a country, malicious calls, crank calls, Madam Speaker. In 2016, there was 1,077. 2017, 1,071. 2018, 1,300. In 2019, 1,204. And as I said before, in 2020, 1,119. And overall, prank calls of 5,774, wasting precious time, wasting gasoline. I am urging the Jamaican people, let us become more responsible, because any false call can result in some serious implications for the brigade. And I want to assure the House that the accident that took place in Trelawney, we are glad that there was no loss of life or any damage. And the investigations are continuing as to the real causes. But I would ask the country not to be judgmental, but to understand and to accept that after many years, the brigade has been operating under budget without the requisite tools to carry out its responsibility, Madam Speaker. And since 2016, we have turned the corner and we are making a difference, Madam Speaker. Rural water is a new addition to the ministry. And I want to recognize the professional and energetic team at Rural Water who continue to deliver on the mandate to improve access to potable water in rural communities. Major projects were completed in Plattfield Water System in St. Mary, which includes house connections, Mount Vernon, Clark Castle, as well as Loading Bay, to serve borders and surrounding communities. Over 4,000 persons in rural Jamaica are benefiting from this project. Rural Water Supply Limited has also installed water systems in over 22 communities in 8 parishes, and now over 33,000 persons in rural Jamaica are enjoying vastly improved water supply as a result of the work of the Rural Water Agency, Madam Speaker. The agency has installed catchment tanks and black tanks in many communities and installed rainwater harvesting, pumping facilities, wash stations. Over 25 public schools around the island have benefited. This year, the government will provide some $215 million to be spent to complete other projects that will benefit 20,000 additional people across the parish the parishes of St. Catherine, St. Anne, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, Portland, St. James. The Ministry of Local Government will also set aside an additional $110 million to construct water shops so that the parishes, Madam Speaker, that will benefit from these water shops will fall under the local rural development program. A total, Madam Speaker, of some $325 million will be provided for rural communities across the country to improve its water supplies, Madam Speaker. This is a government that continues to delay. Rural electrification is a new portfolio subject. Minister Davis has responsibility for the water and rural electrification and other aspects of community development. We are implementing this, Madam Speaker, with pace. The program started before. You have some MPs who have benefited from it, Madam Speaker. The ministry will be financing an island-wide rural electrification program to the tune of $189 million, which is being implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, who has been working closely with the program, and we want to continue that partnership, Madam Program. The program is designed to facilitate communities who want to be legally connected to the electricity grid, but who are not able to find the money to wire and to certify their homes. When the houses are wired and certified, this will enable these families to enter into a formal agreement with the Jamaica Public Service Company. Members of Parliament, and we're going to include recommendations from councillors, will be asked to be a part of this program, where we are trying to improve the standard of life, the standard of living, especially in rural Jamaica. JSIF have already completed community assessment on 500 houses in various communities, and this program will transform families and community life as we roll this program over the next 3 years. It is about changing the character of communities through legitimate access to resources. It is about reducing vulnerability to fire by putting an end to the need for candles and lamps to provide lighting in a modern age, Madam Speaker. I just want to spend 2 minutes on the streetlight situation, Madam Speaker. I did say last year that I'm unhappy with the pace of the street lighting exercise. We have been having meetings with the Jamaica Public Service Company to iron out this vexed issue, Madam Speaker. They have indicated that so far they have installed in excess of 80,000 lights across the country. My friend from East Kingston and Port Royal said that he has not seen the lights. So I am just saying that based on their numbers, they have installed over 80,000 lights. But, Madam Speaker, it is not just the installation of the lights that is a problem. The agreement, condition 28 of the license, that was agreed on between the then government and the then Minister of Energy, is that there would have been a system that would have been put in place that would allow the lights to regulate itself. Dim when there is a need, automatically report when the lights are out, put in video systems that would facilitate surveillance. All of these measures were put in, Madam Speaker. Some of these systems have not yet been established. And I have asked again my permanent secretary to ask the GAPS to come again to sit with us. Because this government, in good faith 2 years ago, when the godfather of local government, the Minister of Finance, found the money. $9 billion was paid to liquidate the outstanding debts owed to the Jamaica Public Service Company, Madam Speaker. And we are expecting that the JPS will return the good faith that this administration has demonstrated. The member spoke about savings from the installation of lights. And I want to clear up that because there seems to be some misunderstanding in the public domain. There's nowhere in the license that the then minister signed that spoke about anything to do with savings, Madam Speaker. It is not written in the license. What it speaks about, Madam Speaker, is what would happen. He stated that it was written that the smart street light would result in saving of 1 billion, 2.8 billion, 1.4 billion. That license that was issued under his signature as minister in 2016, not included in it. And while we agree that the installation of those new lights, Madam Speaker, should also result in some reduction, we must also remember that over the last couple of years, more brand new lights, Madam Speaker, would have been installed. So whatever we would have considered to be savings would have gone in installing new lights. I intend to, member, to engage you in some discussions on this matter so that we have clarity as it surrounds the Jamaica Public Service Company. But to say, Madam Speaker,
there is a new spokesman on energy.
But to say, Madam Speaker, that while we are talking about installation of lights, the Jamaican people must play their part. Over some 700 of the brand new lights have been stolen, Madam Speaker. Over 700. So it is not fair to say that enough is not being done. And you can give it in one hand and take it away in the other hand, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, coming up, wrapping up. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management continue to demonstrate its immense value as Jamaica's disaster management agency since the National Disaster Risk Management Council was activated on March 5th last year. ADPEM has been at the forefront on the fight against COVID-19. And I want to remind this honorable House and country that ADPEM is the lead agency that activates the provisions of the Disaster Risk Act, which is primarily the legislative tool being used to manage the pandemic. The agency's work is indispensable to the situational assessment and protocol management process across the country. And it is a vital part of the intergovernmental team that access applications for sporting and related events. And I'm proud, Madam Speaker, of this agency for the steadfast and stellar work it's doing. The work includes the coordination efforts being made by the government of Jamaica to assist our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Madam Speaker. The agency coordinated the relief supplies, where over some 35 million Jamaican dollars worth of supplies was shipped to St. Vincent, and I want to thank the Bahamian Defense Force for assisting in transporting the supply, and also the Jamaica Defense Force. The ADPEM has also started an account where over some $3.2 million have been contributed by Jamaicans to the cause of our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent. There are reports published in some media that suggest that the ADPEM was suffering from ministerial overreach.
What?
And that its budgetary processes were being hijacked for unusual and unjustified expenses, such as town hall meetings,
What?
It was further suggested that the Andrew Holness administration is milking the ADPEM, which was described by one newspaper as a cash cow. Madam Speaker, I have chosen to refute these baseless claims in this House as a representative of the people and in the presence of all my colleagues who together represent the people of Jamaica. I want the country, the people of this country, to know that their government is doing nothing immoral, illegal, or in any way breach of policy at ADPEM. A cash cow is an entity that earns substantial incomes from its activity, and the ADPEM has never been one. The agency will every now and again rent some tents and get a small amount. It is since the advent of the Andrew Holness administration we have pumped over $1.5 billion into ADPEM, Madam Speaker, to ensure its effectiveness to all natural threats and disasters we have experienced, from drought to heavy rain, etc., Madam Speaker. The ADPEM has never experienced this level of investment from the public purse, and it is reflected in the positive change that this government promised when we assume office. On the subject of change, there are those who believe and argue that the practice have gone on for many years should still simply continue. And any change is seen as suspicious, corrupt, or political interference. In my experience as a minister, this argument has been around since Matthew, when we stayed and we worked with the then Director General to advise the country on the passage of the hurricane. And some people felt it was political interference. Let me say that nobody never have to ask, where is the minister? When there was a certain disaster in this country, the country was asking, where is the minister? And we understand the minister was elsewhere. Madam Speaker, we value the work of the ADPEM. And I am saying and denying, putting to rest any claims of political interference within the ADPEM, Madam Speaker. It is mischief, Madam Speaker, and we don't want to be a part of the mischief, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, we are now getting ready to meet the new hurricane season. It is expected, Madam Speaker, that this season will be very active, and there is some new information that has been provided by the Colorado State University. It is anticipated that 17 new storms, 8 hurricanes, 4 of which are expected to be of major category, and this is being classified as being from 3 to 5 in strength. The ADPEM will shortly roll out its National Hurricane Preparedness Program, and our disaster coordinators have been doing all the things necessary to secure shelters during the period and ensure that the isolation wards are in place, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our commitment is to make the ADPEM stronger, and we will continue to do so, Madam Speaker. The Youth Summer Employment Program continues to be a critical employer of young people island-wide. And it continues, Madam Speaker, since its inception to provide jobs. Madam Speaker, since the program started 5 years ago, 21,000 young Jamaicans have benefited out of this program, Madam Speaker, making it the largest government youth employment program of its kind, Madam Speaker. And I dare to say it may be one of the largest in the Caribbean. This year, Madam Speaker, despite COVID, 5,000 young people were employed last year, Madam Speaker. And this year, we will increase the numbers to 6,000 young people, Madam Speaker, paying them for 1 month, which commenced in August. at 40,000 Jamaican dollars, Madam Speaker. That will go a far way, Madam Speaker, in helping many young people, especially going back to school. I cannot conclude this address without mentioning the tremendous work of the municipal corporations since the pandemic. Financially, they are wearing pants without pockets. Their income would normally be up from amusement fees and other own source revenue. The local authorities, Madam Speaker, in executing their responsibility, a total of 5,691 applications for building permits were received, reflecting an investment value of 203.1 billion Jamaican dollars. To note, 89% of the applications were received for small and large residential development, 6 for commercial development, and 1.3 for institutional projects. At the same time, the local authorities, despite challenges, issued some 4,580 building permits, reflecting total investment of $159.1 billion, Madam Speaker, and I must commend them because 90% of those applications were completed in 90 days, Madam Speaker, and I want to commend them, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this year, we are going to be dedicating a little bit more money for roads. Some $350 million will be spent on roads across the country through the local authorities. I know that might not be a lot, Madam Speaker, but we are doing as best as we can within the limitation of the resources, and we will continue to see those kind of investment, Madam Speaker. I want now to turn to my final part of the presentation, Madam Speaker, where we are looking at the government's contribution to community development. We lost the momentum in the construction of community parks, and we have completed the Ulster Spring Park in Trelawney, and just quite recently, I had the pleasure of breaking grounds with the Most Honourable Prime Minister in West Central St. Andrew for the Andrew Mudes Community Park, which is going to be a new feature of community development under the Ministry of Local Government. Madam Speaker, I want to again, Madam Speaker, thank those persons who have worked with us. The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development is responding in real time. I now want to announce a new program under rural development, Madam Speaker, which will see these programs providing substantial employment for persons right across the country. I want to announce a rural development program which will be headed, as I said, under the portfolio responsibility of Minister Davis, where we will be spending some $650 million to develop communities in various parts of the island. The program will be piloted in Chambers Pen in Western Hanover, Madam Speaker, and will cover Cheesefield in St. Catherine, Cheswick in Western St. Thomas, Lawrence Tavern in West Rural St. Andrew, and also in Southwest Clarendon, Madam Speaker. The program will include, Madam Speaker, the installation of water, electricity, internet access, roads, sidewalks, community park, indigent housing, we will use this program to give new life to rural communities over the next 2 years, Madam Speaker. Let me emphasize that this program will create temporary and permanent employment opportunity right across the country, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Minister of Finance announced an initiative in his budget presentation. Paint the city, paint the town. A new concept in bringing life to rural towns across Jamaica, Madam Speaker. Some 300 million will be spent on the first phase of the program. And I'm having discussion with the minister because we want to continue the program after we have completed it. We will begin in the parish of Kingston and St. Andrew, Maypen in Clarendon, Buff Bay and Port Antonio in Portland in the first phase of the program, Madam Speaker. The Paint the City, Paint the Town will provide some 2,000 jobs right across, Madam Speaker. And in some cases, it will become permanent employment for the maintenance of these facilities. We will look, Madam Speaker, at mural paintings, installations of signs, improvement to selected markets. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to assure the country that this is not a pork barrel program. This will be a structured program that will be monitored and governed in a way that the Jamaican taxpayer will get value for the money arising out of this program. Madam Speaker, we continue to build. And I'm again proud to announce that this year we will be breaking grounds to provide more black and steel indigent housing for members of the vulnerable population. In this financial year, we will be building houses in West Central St. Andrew, Southwest St. Andrew, Eastern Westmoreland, Western Westmoreland, Northwest St. James, South St. James, Central St. Mary, Southeast St. Mary, and Central Kingston in the corporate area, Madam Speaker. This is a government, Madam Speaker. We promise 100 houses, Madam Speaker. We have gone 20 out of the 100. And we intend to build out, Madam Speaker, to provide for the poor and destitute. The Ministry of Local Government, in conclusion, Madam Speaker, is a part of an administration that has delivered sound leadership and tangible public goods and service to the people of Jamaica since 2016. The journey has not been easy, but a smooth ocean has never made a skilled sailor, Madam Speaker. We have made significant improvement to the lives of our citizens, and we are committed in doing much more. This government will not fall into complacency and set aside the trust and confidence of the people. In everything we have done, we have also worked hard to preserve and enhance the sound principles of governance. We will not allow transparency and accountability to play second fiddle to performance. The people and institution of local government has been severely tested, but the challenges have brought out our resilience and our resolve to increase our reach and the quality of service. With the commitment of the elected representatives, Madam Speaker. And before I close, I want to mention quickly the passing over the last 3 years of councillors. We lost Councillor Wesley Siku Sukul 9 in 2019. Councillor Milton Brown in 2020. Councillor Brown in Portland in 2020. Councillor Darren Wood from Portland in 2021. Councillor Ivan McCormack, who passed quite recently. All of these local government practitioners collectively have given over 60 years of service to the people of Jamaica in their respective divisions, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we will achieve giving the energy to cross boundaries and to break barriers and to implement new ideas for national development. We are motivated by the words of a former British Prime Minister. We shall not fail nor falter. We shall not weaken or rest. Neither the sudden shock of battle nor the long-drawn trails of vigilance and exertion will wear us down. Give us the tools. We will finish the job because under Andrew Holness, Jamaica is in safe hands. God bless you.